welcome to the Inspiration Incubator. Here we rejuvenate, reconnect, reteach, and redirect. I am your host, Leonabaker. It is our hope that you leave inspired with resources and information to help you achieve and dream. Our world needs you. Let's see who is next on the Inspiration Incubator. Beverley's Home Healthcare. Love is all that matters. Do you have a grandparent at home, a senior citizen, or perhaps just a loved one who needs additional assistance? Some may need non-medical services such as personal care attendants, certified nursing assistants, respite care, home health aides, homemakers, companions, or housekeeping. Others may need a long run of personal care services. Well, contact Beverley's Home Healthcare and get your loved one needs met today. You may contact them at 215-596-5200. That's 215-596-5200 today. According to New York Access Wire, up-and-coming entrepreneur Anthony "Money Shy" Beverley has been setting a reputation in the real estate scene of Philadelphia. In partnership with mentor Dr. Developer Joe Williams, they and Artesian Townhomes have transformed the property business in the area from revamping the Avenue of the Arts, constructing the next campus for a university, and providing hundreds of houses in the Philly area. What most people do not know is this promising tycoon's inspiring life story. Before reaching his current success, Beverley was not born with a silver spoon. In fact, his life was not ideal. He grew up in one of West Philadelphia's Mill Creek projects and was exposed to street life. His troubled childhood almost cost his life. He was shot in the back of his head and got kidnapped. But like a gem molded through extreme pressure, he made this his training ground to be successful. Now he travels the world and juggles visiting his homes on the East and West Coast. At an early age, he realized that patience and working smart will bring him places. He decided to give up that difficult youth and started teaching himself about real estate. Part of his motivation came as he trailed along with his grandfather, who was then engaged in realty. He persevered by networking every day, locating houses that were for sale, and staying updated and educated. Years later, he met Joe Williams, who honed his skills. The rest was history. For the past 12 years, their team in Artesian Townhomes and the Williams Group have remodeled or projecting the creation of 900 jobs and generating revenue within the community. Years on the field led his business acumen to grow. Beverley, however, takes a pause and reflects on his life. Success is not measured by money. It is measured by the things we have overcome in life that got us to this point, he added. He then narrated how he has long prayed for God to rebuild his life and remove those that were not earned with hard work. He has long left his career as a champion street bike racer to refocus his thrust on property development and establishing a home health care agency. Aside from his career in real estate, Beverley is also working with the Money Team, a sports promotional company and lifestyle brand. He leads as his own boss in TMT after being introduced to boxing champion Floyd Mayweather several years ago. Far from his luxurious belongings and lifestyle that the public sees, Beverley maintains a life of devotion to God as a Christian. He recalled how he has long left the problematic culture he was first exposed to. It was his conscious decision to surround himself with people who motivated him to dream and pursue his goals. Once I decided to change my life, I went from nothing to something. The main thing is I never gave up, not one time. I'd rather hang in there and keep pushing and don't take nothing for granted, he says. Well, hello, Anthony Beverley. Welcome to the Inspiration Incubator. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Miss Leonabaker?
I am doing awesome. I am excited today that my brother from way back when is here with me today to talk about your success. And we celebrate you all the way every day. But today, I have an opportunity to celebrate you in front of the audience. So, yes, because I'm proud of you.
Absolutely. But not to cut you off, but I got to let you know you're not nowhere near as excited as I am to be on the Inspiration Incubator. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, thank you. That's so sweet.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to get right to it. I want people to know some of the articles that you're featured in. So if they're wondering, that name Anthony Beverley doesn't ring a bell, they may have heard of TMT Shy. Well, you will be featured in the November New York Forbes magazine issue.
Yes.
You are currently in the Chicago Journal's top 20 entrepreneurs to be on the lookout for in 2020.
I made number 1 on the list.
Oh, number 1. That's right, bro. Let them know. You made number 1 on the list.
I'm telling you, I work too hard, man.
Hey, come on now. You were featured in Yahoo Finance magazine speaking on your rags to riches story.
Absolutely.
Which we're going to cover that today for the people.
Sure.
You also made number 3 on Yahoo's top 20 people to follow in 2020.
Yes.
You were featured in Kivo magazine on the success of your real estate.
Right.
You were featured in the New York Weekly.
Yes.
And also featured in New York Weekly, ABC, Fox, WRCB TV.
I was also featured in Dosage. It's called Dosage Magazine. Yes.
Okay.
That's a great magazine as well. I was in there as well. So they got some cool stuff going on.
Yes. We'll make sure that the people can read all about it. Yes. So, you definitely have some blessings on your life. Okay, now I call you Big Bro. I call you TMT Shy, Anthony Beverley.
Right.
But most of all, I refer to you as Bro.
Okay? Right.
And for the people who don't know, the reason is that we go way, way back.
Oh, God, dude. Wow. And we had the big figure 8. You had the big figure 8 earrings in school and all that good stuff. You was always really, really classy and sophisticated.
Oh, thank you. But we go further back than that,
though. For sure.
So what's your first memory of me at Cassidy Elementary School? That's how far we go back.
So I remember this one particular day they put the teachers put to the side for the children, and they entitled it Play Day. You remember that?
Play Day.
How did you not remember Play Day? Yeah, so
I remember recess.
Right, of course, right? So they named it. It was called Play Day, and we get to play all day. That's exactly. Wow. Yes, and so I used to do like somersaults and gymnastics. That was.
I remember that. You were the muscle man. I remember that.
So I was walking on my hand down like those stairs. Remember the stairs?
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Right. And outside, it was on a terrace, and it led all the way down to the bottom of the playground. So the yard. And I was in your way, and I damn near kicked you, and you almost killed me. You better get moved. We was all you had your little girlfriend clique, whatever, and you got so mad at me because my damn shoe, my little worn out shoe.
Oh,
because I was for the projects.
I remember that.
I do. You was like, yo, move it, Anthony. You get on my nerves. Move.
Well, you know what? I had a bad experience probably when you said something about your shoe tapped me now. I remember. You remember, I'm going to say his name. This is a disclaimer.
I remember. Evans, of course.
Yes. He took his hand and it landed somewhere it was not supposed to. And Man, I lost it.
Oh
And
God!
I
I
was,
remember that.
yes.
He was a real pain in your butt. I remember that. That is
Well,
funny.
everybody was cool, but it was just, you can't be touching things you're not
Yeah,
supposed to. I
yeah,
don't play
yeah.
those kind of games. My mother taught me better than that. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Go ahead.
and I felt bad because one time, I don't know if it was him or not, because you know how the boys play games and
Yeah,
people tag and run.
right.
But honey, he was standing behind me, so he had to get it. Like I just turned around and whoever was standing there got it.
Oh
So
God.
sorry, I don't know if it was you or not, but
Poor thing. He seemed to always get the short end of the stick. So let me
oh
tell
my
you,
God.
back in school, like he was getting abused by his parents, and he would show me like all of these belt whelps that was like all over his body. Like I'm talking
Oh
about
my
like that was like yeah, some of them took the skin off him and everything. So and
Oh
yeah,
my God.
nobody else knew that except for for me. He was just really comfortable with me, and I made him feel like everything was going to be okay. You just can't be a pain in the butt. But he had a like a he was like kind of like neglected by his
Oh,
parents. So
that's just so sad. It breaks my heart
yeah,
because being an educator and then just also understanding the seriousness that
yeah,
goes into children being abused. It's
oh
like
yeah, absolutely,
back when we were in school and we were so tight,
yeah,
like we were just
for sure.
a nice group of kids. I remember once you supposedly had this hole or something, like a nail or something in your donut. I was like, Anthony, did you put that in your donut?
Well,
And you're like,
that's the thing. You remember something? Wait, what happened? Tell me about that.
you had like a nail or something in your in your donut. You were like, I'm suing these people. I'm suing these people.
Really? And I wait a minute. You
Yes,
talking about when we used to sneak to the bakery,
yes, to the bakery, and it was a powdered donut. You used to
right?
get some powdered
Right?
donuts. Yep. And
What?
he was like, look, this was in my donut. This was in my donut. And I was like, Anthony, did you put that in your donut?
Wait a minute. Oh, no. Hey, listen. Hey, I was always about the little dollar, right? Say no.
Hey, hey,
But
hey.
I think that's crazy. I think I remember that.
Yeah, it'll come
Uh,
back to you. It will come
yeah,
back
yeah,
to
I
you.
remember something like that. And I think what happened was, I think my dad, God rest my dad's soul, but
Yeah.
my dad used to I used to be riding around my father, right? And I mean my dad was a hustler, man. He said, I'm gonna get it and by all means necessary.
I know that's
So
right. He was
he
hustling,
said
honey.
he used to ride around with the neck brace in the back seat of the car. He was
Wow.
not playing no games. And I remember he had like people tap his car, like the car in front of him, and man, he
Mhm.
would fall out in the car.
Oh
He had
my
his
God.
neck brace back there. He had slapped the neck brace on. I'm suing. He'd fall out the car.
Oh
And
my gosh.
maybe I didn't had one too many rides with my dad. I'm telling you, I swear, I swear. Yeah, I done had one too many rides with my dad. I'm telling you, because
uh,
children absorb what they see, at a young
uh,
age. And especially my dad, he was my hero. I said, I'm gonna get me some money. I'm telling you, I see him do that a lot.
well,
So
I will say this. You definitely are a hustler.
I,
Because you've been hustling through the millions ever since.
I'm telling you, man. I said, okay, I got to learn how to use this about use this for good purposes. You know what I'm
Hey.
saying?
I'm
And
trying
so
to tell you.
yeah, so I think I'm here today to tell you. I'm here today to tell you that I think I put that nail in that donut. Don't tell nobody.
Okay. Hey, but we it's crazy because coming up in Philly was just like a close close knit community, depending on what pocket you were in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And you know what I mean? Like on 51st Street with my grandparents,
Yes,
Parkside, we were close knit
yes,
tight.
yes.
And then when I was with my mom up in Winfield, we were close knit tight.
Yep.
And because we came from, a large family, my siblings and I, we treated everybody like family,
Right, right.
And even in Cassidy, I didn't bother anybody. I was pretty quiet and stayed to myself until Fredia and I became friends after we fought. And that was only because she was picking on me because I was just quiet and to myself. So I was the kind of person, you don't bother me, I don't bother you. But just don't try to start anything with my brother or my sister, and it's all good,
Yeah, Fredia, right? I remember Fredia.
Yes, Fredia was my best
Janae,
friend.
Fredia, Janae, man.
Your cousin Tamika Beverley.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my girl Tamika. Denise.
uh,
And
Denise,
you know
yes.
what's so sad? I'm not going to mention, a specific name, but since that time,
yeah.
I'll never forget. I will never forget being an adult and seeing not any of our classmates,
No,
but for the first
on the corner, right in the 60th
Yeah.
Street. I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out her name. I cannot remember her name.
Yeah, it broke my heart to
It
see
did.
that.
Oh
It broke
yeah.
my heart.
Oh yes.
And
Oh yes.
it was
of 63rd and Jefferson.
Yeah,
Yep.
because it's just sad. That was just a sad situation to see a woman or somebody you knew since a child go through something like that. And the first thing that I said to myself was, where was her father?
I'm telling you.
Where are her parents? But nonetheless, we had a lot of great memories, and
yeah, we did.
we had a lot of fun. Walking to school together.
Yes.
Just being kids. Yeah, getting into fights when we had to.
With the Italians. Remember?
Oh, hold up. Hold up. Do I remember? Hold up. Do you remember my mom? How about that?
Your mom came up there one time.
Oh, Tina don't play. Let me tell you what my mom did. Let me tell you what my mom did. My mom put her hair scarf on. Because first of all, everybody thought she was white when she had on her hair scarf.
Yes.
When she didn't have her hair scarf on, people knew she was something. They were like, is she white? Is she black? What is she? People couldn't figure it out because her hair was so thick.
Right.
When she didn't wear her hair straight.
Okay.
My mother I'll never forget, the Italians chased us home from school.
Yes. Remember
that? You were witness to that. Oh yeah. Trust me, I'm gonna be writing books for days one day. The podcast is not for nothing, okay?
I'm telling you.
And so we were running home and we ran straight home to my mom, and my mom said, what in the world? She said, hold up, let me grab my bag. She got her bag. She walked us up to the street. She walked up. It was either the barbershop they were in or the store. I think it was the barbershop. My mom walked up in there. She said, let me tell you something right now. You see these kids right here? 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't know the board? Mary Leon, she said, these are my kids. And my kids got to go to school. So she said, girl, by the time she got done with them, everybody was friends.
I'm telling you.
Everybody was friends by the time, because Tina was not playing. And she said, and if they chase you again, it's over. It's a wrap. It's going to be an all-out war. She was not playing. She said, because my kids got to get an education. My mom was always pushing education. Education. So, and looking back on that, Philly was so racist, and it still is in some instances, because in North Philly, you have the blacks in certain pockets, and then in West Philly, you have the blacks in certain pockets, and then you have the Italians in South Philly. And, if you go to the football game, unfortunately, you can still hear black men being called.
Absolutely.
And it's just unfortunate, that's the way it is. But as I became an adult and I realized with my sons, and I understood that I did not want my sons to grow up in Philly because of the streets were changing. It was different when I was growing up and people knew who Mr. Baker was. They knew who my grandfather was, and I had a certain amount of protection. But it started to change because my grandfather was getting older and my uncles were getting older, and I didn't want to raise my sons in that kind of environment, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I didn't want the streets to have my baby. But nonetheless, we're gonna move on. We're gonna push forward. So those are our days with Cassidy. We always had a lot of fun.
Wow.
Connected since second grade. And that's I don't even know what the math is on that.
Oh, I'm telling you. Goodness. Jeez.
I'll have to do the math on that. Okay, so Anthony, tell us at this time about Beverley Home Health Care. How did it come about? What exactly it is that you do? And if anybody needs an employment opportunity, how they can contact you.
Sure. Well, Beverly's Home Healthcare, I named it after my last name because I wanted to be a household name. I wanted to build a brand, and I'm a healthcare provider. I pay individuals to take care of their loved one, family, or friend. And I mean, if you're out there and you're with someone at the supermarket that has a medical condition, that's on long term disability, and you're with them and you're taking them places, you're over their house, medication reminder, doing little range of motion exercises and helping them wash up or helping them get dressed, running to the drugstore to get their prescriptions, all that. You can get paid for that. So they could definitely contact me at beverly'shomehealthcare.com, or my office number is 215-596-5200, and just let me know. Say, hey, I was referred from Leonabaker's podcast station, and that way we could I could contact my sister Leona and say, hey sister, they coming, from your podcast station, here's a little referral fee. You know what I'm saying? So we're
Okay.
we're,
All
we're
right.
opening up in LA, Las Vegas. We're here in Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and we're going to be opening up in Jacksonville, Florida. So that's I would say that's my actually like my 3 to 5 year business plan. So
Awesome.
yeah. So that's kind of cool. And with my agency, it's more than just home care. That's what makes us different. Is that you're going to come out a winner, not just some people are comfortable with being a caregiver. That's fine,
Yes.
but
Yes.
so that's super awesome. You're taking care of people, but we offer more than that. There's great potential with my agency. So I don't want to give away all the goodies, you know,
Right.
but yeah,
And you definitely have a blessing on your life.
yes, absolutely.
Those
Yeah,
who do not know, before moving millions, you grew up in Mill Creek Projects in
yeah,
West Philadelphia.
yes,
Not only were you shot, but you were kidnapped.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's right.
Can you discuss any of the details of that time period in your life when trouble was the only way and the only wall of success that held you captive at that time?
Of course, absolutely. I mean, it's a part of my story, and it can help change someone else's life before they head down that wrong path, you know. But sure, you can ask me anything you want, anything. But yeah. So, up to what point do you want to know about? Because I'm excited to tell you.
I'm listening. I'm all ears. Go
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. So, I was a street hustler,
Hmm.
but I was into the streets, but I was never a put it like this. I always had Jesus Christ in my heart,
Mm.
but I had to go through some things um to know how blessed I am. You see, because
Amen.
people they go through things. The people that don't go through things in life are the ones that should reevaluate their life and say, "Look,
Mm.
things is too perfect. What am I doing wrong?" Whoever's out there, you guys are listening. If you're going through things, that's because the devil knows what your future holds. He knows what God has in store for you, and the devil wants to throw these obstacles your way, hoping to turn you away from the Lord. But
Amen.
whatever happens, don't ever let no one throw you or turn you away from Jesus Christ. Hold on to his hand, and he will show you he's his word and his gospel is the word of God, and they are one, and it will guide you down the right path, and it will show you how real and how Jesus Christ's promise will always be with us. Because if you just be patient, like if you're having issues, go through the storm, continue to pray. Don't just pray when you're having good times, but pray when you're not having good times. That's when the test comes in. You
Mm.
know, how many people can go through tragic situations against themselves, their family, all those type things, or relationships, and still get on their knees and pray, or just don't like just pray to the Lord, talk to the Lord, and that's the test right there. That's when the test comes up. So just stay focused, guys. Stay focused, because with me, I went through some things when I was into the streets. Like I said, I was never a hustler that like was going around using his little street so-called quote unquote power, which there's no power except Jesus Christ. But there now, people, let's be real, there is power that the devil can give you because he wants your soul. He wants you to lead people down the wrong path. So he'll make you think you got this little power going on and all this stuff with witchcraft and these false idols and all this, just that universe stuff that nowadays a lot of people was thinking, oh, the universe. And no. There's a universe, but Jesus Christ created everything in God. He created everything. So people, let's get it together. Bottom line.
So Anthony, how did you get involved with the street life, and why did you choose that route?
Sure. So I used to, I grew up in 46th Street projects from the age of like 12 on up. But then before then, I was living around 56th Street, 56th and Vodgers Street projects. It's right off of Market near between Race and Arch. And
So, excuse me. So when we used to say 46 and Hoop Street, was that where you were, somewhere around there?
Oh yeah. When I turned, my mother and I, she was a single parent. My dad was still around, in and out of our lives, but back and forth to jail. He done pulled too many car accidents, fraudulent incidents, but it's all good. But so he was in jail. My mom moved us when we were like 12 years old, around 46 in Fairmont. That's Milky Projects, and we were literally about 4 blocks down from Hoop Street. So that was all good. So we was all like in cahoots with each other, like family. So I used to see all the guys, I was in the projects, you know what I'm saying? My mom was always a worker. She was always a worker, raising 2 sons. And we used to see like the street hustlers, driving by in their cars and all that. And I didn't really have the structuring from my father that I should have had. That happens when you have that broken household. That's nowadays. That's not. That's missing that structure. So
and it's like another statistic. I get it. I get it as a single mom,
absolutely,
and the statistics that I had to overcome with my sons.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get it.
And so I believe that's very, very important to have, not to get off track, but to have dinner time. Put down the phones, put down the tablets, put the computer up, sit down. Let's have dinner time on the table. Let's family should discuss what's bothering their children, things like that, and discuss, come up with a game plan on how, you guys can fix the problem. They have, bullying going on, and the parents the children feel like, we got to rebuke that suicide demon. That's a demon going around, and the children feel like they don't have no one to talk to because they have a broken household, and so we need to just try to get back into speaking
family time.
Absolutely. Help them with their homework. Don't us parents, don't just slide them the phone and tell them, sit down somewhere and get on your tablet or your phone. Don't let the phone or these devices raise your children, please.
Right.
Please, because the devil works through tablets. He works through technology. The children are on their phones, and next thing you know, they got little pop-up ads, pornographic pop-up ads, and that's it's bad, guys. It's bad, man. So we got to protect our children while they're on them tablets.
That's right.
But anyway, so and we really didn't have that structuring, but my mother was trying to do the very best she could do. Children needs their father as well. That father can give them that structuring that a father is meant to give to their children. And so we got led astray, seeing the little fast cars coming through, the nice cars and the motorcycles and all that. So me being a natural born hustler, actually, you remember Malik Ruff? No, not Malik
I
Ruff.
do.
Yeah,
I
Malik
remember.
Ruff.
I remember Malik because Malik was short,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
remember when he got
yeah.
shot and killed, and I was hurt about that.
Yeah, what happened? You said when he got killed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, exactly. So Malik and I used to see Malik. He used to have his little job. We was in about fifth grade, fourth, fifth grade, and when you're in, fifth grade, it's like fourth and fifth grade. It's like, and you see one of your classmates, he pull out $50 or $60, his little ones, his fives, and all that. You like, damn, like. So I seen that one day. We was walking up the hill to Lansdowne. We had got off at. You remember the store right there at 63rd and Market. I mean 63rd and Lansdowne.
Right, I remember.
Right. So we used to walk up the hill, nice to see him. We used to stop at a little store before we go to school. And he used to have his
Hmm.
little money and everything. I'd be like, I'm like, hey, help, man. Can I get a job with you? What you do? How you make your
Yeah.
money? And he was like, I sell papers for the Overbook Press. That was my first job, was the Overbook Press. So
Wow.
he put me down. We was delivering papers. My mom let me get the job. The guy came to our house and pick us up and go drop us off, put us on our little routes. And I was just like, I was just always working, trying to get to some money. And that gave me a taste of what life had in store, that I had to make my own money because nobody's going to make it for me or give it to me. You got to work hard for it. And so, but then I end up stealing somebody's glasses. I don't know what the hell for, but you kids, you do stupid stuff. I got fired,
Oh
and
Lord.
once I got fired, my next job was I was now about this time I was about 13 years old, and I was actually working at Shopping Bag at 48th and Brown. That was right across from the our Mill Creek projects, and I was working and working. I was a little stock boy because I lived right around the corner, and I was making. I think they would. I wasn't getting a pay stub, so I was getting paid cash under the table in there every week, and I think I was making like $75 a week. That's pretty good for a kid that young. I mean,
Oh,
back then,
absolutely.
back then.
Yes.
So it was like, yeah. So when I say hustle, I was working legally at Shopping Bag, and I was bagging bags and stocking. And then I bought me a trench coat, a full length trench coat, like 13 years
Mhm.
old, buying a trench coat. That was
I
crazy.
think I remember that.
You
I don't know
remember?
why.
I had a black trench coat.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, I remember
So,
that.
so yeah, so I bought that. I bought the trench coat, and I just wanted more and more and more. So
Right.
so then what happened was I was actually tired of that because of just the way my manager was looking at me at the time, like in regards to like just getting on my nerves, like complain, always find about something to complain about. So because I
Right.
was doing my job, so and her name was Diane. I remember Diane to this day. But so and then I started working at McDonald's. Out West Philly on 52nd Street. But I wasn't too proud of people seeing me working at McDonald's because I wanted more. I didn't want them to
Right.
look down on me. So I had this mindset at the age of like 12 and 13. It was crazy. So
Right.
I was literally, by the time I started working at McDonald's, I was 14. And
Hmm.
and it's crazy because a lot of things changed back then, but I literally was getting a paycheck. And I think my mom had me set up. This is true. Like, I don't know how, but my mom somehow had me set up a bank account and got
Right.
me she was trying to show me how to work the Mac machine. Literally, I promise you I'm not lying. By this
Oh,
time,
no, no. I remember back then they even had like because I used to work for the mayor's office
yeah,
through a project through the city of Philadelphia,
right,
and so
right.
I was getting checks at 14. I was getting checks at 12
Yeah,
working at
yeah. I'm telling you, yes,
Broadway. So
yes,
yeah, it's
yes. I'm telling you, it's crazy, right? So like I tell people that they're like, nah, you ain't getting the check. Yes, I really, really was. So
real.
and then it's just that then I was doing this little it's crazy, man. It's crazy when I was working at McDonald's. I figured out a way to like hustle McDonald's, you know, and it was crazy. Like I would, you know how you place an order on the cash register, so they put me up on the cash register. They should have did that. so,
Oh,
so you know I'm my dad's name Basil, right? His real name's Eddie. So I'm Edward's son. so I don't got a neck brace or back brace in my back of my car.
You
But I
had
got
those
an idea
hands.
to get some money. so you know how you would this different now. You can't just do this now. But when
Right.
people would come to me and they would place orders, like I was thinking like this at a young age. When they would place the order, what I would do, I would cancel out the order. Like they say, oh, I want 3 Big Macs, 4 apple pies, large fries, and all this stuff. I would say, okay, I would come up with the cost of it. Let's say if it's like $20, and I would say, okay, let me cancel out the order. So you can cancel out the order. You go back in the day on the computers, but then I'd be like, hey, your order is like $20. You give me $10, I'll just give you all this for $10, and I'll throw in something. And they were like, okay, cool. So I didn't even have to go in the drawer. They would just hand me the money, and then I would just like can't like charge like a little soda. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? With the $10, and I would like keep the change and give them all the
Right.
food. So I did that over and over, and then I just, oh my god, man, I was making all this money. I was making all this money, but then their inventory started coming up short. they said they said something is wrong. I'm like, it sure is. so I'm just, and I'm the damn culprit the whole time. It was hilarious, but so don't try that at home, folks. But
Don't try it at
man, I
home.
swear,
So,
man, had to make about before it caught up with me about, oh my god, about $15,000.
I was about
Yo,
to say I'm not going. I was about to say I'm going to exit out the
listen, man, I done made
but
all
you got caught. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, and then
Okay.
no, the inventory was coming up short. So what happened was I never got because they couldn't point the finger. I never got caught for it. What happened was they sent us to another McDonald's. I repeated the process, my ass, right? And then, what happened? So they took me off a register, right? Maybe they had, back then I wasn't thinking about it, but maybe they had like, I know it got to be Anthony. So, and then, so then they put me on stock, and I had like stock the freezers and all that. Then they put us out Norristown. We had to go all the way out there. I think they would have a little ride to come get the employees and take us out there. And we was like loading up the freezers and all that. That wasn't my thing. So I was like, okay, this job is burnt out. so then I would see all the street hustlers, and then that's when I started getting involved in the selling drugs, and which I found out a way to scam that.
Well, but you just walk up to somebody? They just walk up to you?
No, well, there was this guy named G from New York back in the day. He used to have a red Cherokee with like all this loud music. That was like the in thing back in the day. And I was like, wow, this is that's cool. And I was always the type. Where did I see him? I had finally seen him at 34th and like 34th and Walnut. They had like this rap show with like all the old school rappers there, and I said, "Oh, that's that guy G that rides around with the music." I said, "Man, he get money." I was thinking like that, and I said, "I want to shoot. I want to know what can I do."
Right.
I was like, how can I help him make some money, and then maybe I can make some money. And I approached him, and I just like, oh, we rappers, and my brother and I, we had this little rap group back in the day. Like, what Project Kids didn't rap, So we was
Right.
rapping, and I said, hey, our name's Three the Hard Way. That was our group name, Three the Hard Way. And I was like, my name Fly Dante. My name was Fly Dante back then, and what was my other name? Fly Dante. It was Fly Dante, and I had another name, Tat
Lord.
T. So my brother's name was Mr. DJ Mr. Ed. He's like, I don't want to be no Mr. Ed. I ain't no horse. So, but we said, your name DJ Mr. Ed. And my man OED, so his name's Omar Long. Shout out to the Saints, man. They're a Christian rap group now. But anyway, so, and I told G, I said, we rappers, man. I said, you think you could? I knew what he was probably into, but I said, that's the best way I can approach him. I said, we rappers, we looking for maybe a manager or whatever. And I let him hear our tape. Like he gave me his number, his beeper number, you know what I'm saying? And I beeped him back in the day. And I said, you can come through, man. We live down the projects. So him knowing we in the projects, that's where all of the and all that. And he saw opportunity as well. So we started hanging around him. We got into the drugs, and then one thing led to another, making money. And then I found that by me being I found that I really had a niche for knowing how to just turn nothing into something. And I just had to go through what I went through to utilize it in the way that the Lord meant for me to utilize it. So I make some money, and then a guy got jealous of me because I was making all this money in the projects.
How did he know you were just because what you were wearing and?
Huh?
Is it because of what you were wearing, like your clothes?
No, because I actually opened up like the middle building. We had 3 project buildings that stood tall high rises, and I opened up one of the spots. I did what G. I did what I saw G do because I started running his spots, and then I mimicked his system, and I did my own thing. So, and then so I did that in the building, and they knew that was my little stuff, and it was crazy. I would come in the house late at night. I learned about the shifts, you know what I'm saying? Working like a 10 to what was it? It was crazy, man. Like a 2 to 10. We got out of Lamberton. This was now moving into Lamberton days. We got out of school at 1:15. Remember that? Well, no, Leona, you didn't go to Lamberton. You went to Cassidy. Okay, so Lamberton, Lamberton was down the street, down the road from Cassidy. And we get out of school like 1:15. So I was home literally by like 1:45 because I jumped around to 31. And I would get home, and then I would start my shift at 2:00 afternoon to 10 in the evening. So I learned that it was all about shifts, and then I ended up mimicking that system but getting my own thing. And it was crazy, and I just started coming up from there. But then, things started to get crazy.
It took a turn.
Yeah. Yep. And people, I started seeing so-called friends getting jealous and mad, and they trying to get they guys to kidnap me and all this crazy stuff. But I was still relatively young, when this happened. But these are the things that I went through, and then I started to go back and forth to New York, getting my stuff. I'm just saying, I just keep it real. It's crazy what I was thinking. I was dressed up like a college kid. I would literally get on the bus, the Peter Pan bus, go up there, and get my little stuff. I made me a little connection up there. Like I'm doing this. I was about, now when I was doing this, I was about like, jeez, I was like 18 when I was doing this, like 18. And, I had bought myself, my first car, Citation. Then I bought a Cherokee Jeep. Back then, I did it like my guy G. I mimicked his little Jeep. So by me, going up back and forth from New York, I started getting more and more stuff. I was trafficking my own stuff, and but I never loved it. I will always pray and say, God, can you help me to stop doing what I'm doing?
Right.
And what happened was, then I started driving up there, and I used to take like, I was just like a little college kid, and I would take like a radio with me with books, and I was putting the stuff in the back of the radio. Like I'm talking about like a nice size radio, and I was like, Dad, I don't want to keep doing this. If I could do this, in a good way, and I would talk to the Lord and ask Him, I would be okay if I could do this just in a positive manner. I started getting, I was in the big leagues, and then what happened was, uh, one day I looked at the buildings downtown. I was in the projects, right? I went outside. And I looked at the buildings downtown. I went up to like near Market Street, 46, and I was like, I want to be a successful businessman someday. But what happened was God knew my heart. Jesus, He knew my heart. He knew I didn't want to do what I was doing. You
Right.
know,
You just
um,
got
yeah,
caught up and you
yeah,
a lot of times people get caught up
of
in
course,
their environment.
yeah, of
They
course,
get caught up in
absolutely,
the
absolutely,
situation.
yes,
And
absolutely.
so one of the things that I was always taught was, you can't judge people.
You can't.
And one of the best things that ever happened to me was, being raised and born and raised in the family in which I was, because I had so many different facets of
Yeah,
lifestyles to
absolutely,
learn from.
absolutely,
And so
absolutely,
you were learning from the lifestyles
for
of the
sure,
different people
for sure,
that you were exposed to.
for sure.
And there were desires that you had, there were things that you wanted, but you knew deep down inside, okay, this is not right, because look at everything I have to go through to get it. But
Yeah,
at the same time, if you didn't take care of you, who was going to take care of you?
absolutely, absolutely. I'm telling you, and then that's yes, and that's how it was. And
Yeah.
I just knew, once I said that, then you know, that's when I told the Lord that I want to be successful in whatever it is that He has to take away, take it away.
So when
Anything that,
you told the Lord, when you had that conversation with God,
yeah,
shortly thereafter, is that where the kidnapping
yeah, yeah.
happened?
So no, not even then. So 16, the kidnapping happened.
Was fair. That
Yeah,
was really
yeah,
going on.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay, hold
it wasn't
on.
even. That's not even when I was illegal. Like I was legal
Okay,
then. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
okay. Let's back up. Let's back up, because because see, stuff like that is frightening to me.
Right.
It really is, because you know I can see the times are changing. Like I said,
Hmm.
I had always felt safe at one point,
Right.
even though Philly is, you know, one of the top cities in the United States of America where murder is at the top of the list. Um, it may be third or fourth in the United States at this point, but coming up, because we had elders, your name in those streets meant something.
Yep.
Now, as my grandfather started to get older, I was still a baker girl because of my uncles. And so I was able to walk through the hood without any
Right.
blemishes.
Right.
you know, um, I mean, I was safe. But at the end of the day, it was the hand of the Lord always there. It wasn't necessarily just my grandfather's name or just the people that knew him. And I'm grateful that God covered me in that way.
Yeah.
Because when I think of the brothers who have passed, even since me being in Houston, the gun violence is just so real. When I'm
Yeah.
constantly hearing about these brothers dying,
Yeah.
it just breaks my heart. So you mean to tell me in 2016 somebody kidnapped you because they were watching you? Because I'm sure you were wearing your watches and your jewelry, because that's one of the things that you do. You invest your money
Yeah.
and you buy watches, you buy
Yeah. Yeah.
diamonds.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
That's
gonna get to all.
it's an investment.
Yep, that's right. I'm gonna get to all that for sure. So I'm gonna speed up. I'm gonna speed up things, and so basically, as I came up one day, like I said, after I told God to take everything away, that's when indictments started coming down. That's when I was standing on the corner of 53rd and Market Street. It was a club called the Mirage, and it was about 2:30 when the club let out, and I was up there. I always had custom cars. I had a custom red Lexus, and I was standing out there. And then, next thing you know, I was already in like a little street war with a guy, with a group of guys. Well, I wasn't. What happened was I had a corner, and they tried to come and just say, "Oh, we're going to take over." And I was like, oh, don't mess with me. You know what I'm saying? So they had a little beef with me. Parked on the corner that night. I had like I always could dress. I always liked to dress with fashion and all that. I'm like that to this day. And I had like all Gucci on, so I was looking really nice. The women was complimenting me and all that, but I don't know. I just felt a little weird that night, and there was a guy that started shooting, and he was parked on the side of the club. You know how you go to get inside of a car, like if you're the back passenger, you get in the back seat, and you open the door, and you go to get in, and you kind of like go half before you sit down into the car. You got 1 foot in the car, 1 foot out the car, and you're about to sit down. But you like if you like in that position, the guy like shot up in the air, and then I think caused a chaos. I seen this, and he shoot up in the air, but I didn't run because I was I was seeing a lot of gun violence and shootings and things like that. So it didn't do nothing to me, but
it was normalized.
it was normalized. Yeah. And what's crazy is I said, the guy got in the car while he was shooting. Everybody else started running, and then me and my one of my friends, he didn't run. We didn't run, and then I said to myself, I'm good. God ain't gonna let nothing happen to me. And I really felt, and this is when I also got turned back to the Lord, because I got saved when I was like 13, 12, 13, with the understanding that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. We used to go to Bible study back in the day before then. So my mom planted the seed of Christ in me. So I was like, Lord ain't gonna let that happen to me. And like I said, I had just turned away from like retiring from out the streets. And so this was the beginning of my fall, to the bottom, so that the Lord could rebuild me. And so when that happened, I went to get my car, and next thing you know, the gunshots went off. And I was hit in the back of the head, and my friend got hit in the back of his head. I drove myself to the hospital, and I was like, I can't be doing this like this. I gotta chill. I can't be doing this like this. And I said, I'm gonna leave the streets alone. Then I started getting into like white collar crime type stuff, with checks, bad checks and money and stuff like that. And then I got caught for that as well. So that's, like I said, indictments started coming down and all that stuff. And I went to jail. I did my time. And, one of my friends had set me up before I went to jail. In the mix of that, I was always being under investigation, because one of my so-called friends from back in the day, it was 3 of them. 3 guys that I knew. It was 3 different cases. They set me up, and so that taught me a lot. They wore wires on me, things like that. So, by me not having no assaults on my, violent crimes, and I just had like petty crime, you know what I mean? So it was like a slap on the wrist they gave me, but I did end up losing everything in the mix of when I was making that transition. I got a job at the Marriott, because my lawyer was like, hey, you want to have a job, before you go and find that judge. So I did that. I planted a good seed in me. And I was like, oh, okay, I could do this. I could find myself working and stuff, And then I educated myself on real estate. So I started closing real estate deals. I taught myself how to buy and sell properties, and without no money out of my pocket, things like that. And my family was so used to me selling drugs, being a good person. Well, I was
taking care of your family.
Yeah. They know I had a good purpose, a good heart, but then it's like I'm selling drugs, so like you're poisoning people.
But you got to talk about the mindset of what it was at the time, so then if they can recognize how to get out of it.
That's right. Or
how to make a choice to get out of it.
For sure. And then that's so I ended up building a real estate portfolio, and I ended up buying land that was in a good area, and I partnered up with my mentor. Mind you, this was collecting like the 1400 block of Bainbridge. It's Artisan Townhomes is our establishment. So, and what happened was, unfortunately, I had to go to jail because I turned myself in, and you know,
Okay,
so
God.
yeah. So what happened was, I went to jail. I came home, and we got the land appraised, uh, and we collected 3 blocks of properties, 1400 Bainbridge, Pemberton, and Cater Street, and we knocked all the homes down. And so the thing is, as I was buying and selling real estate, when I was making that transition from out the street
Right.
into the legal life of a businessman, um, I'd take my profits and buy out the homes. So as I collected all the properties, we then, once I the land appraised, appraisal came in at 12 million for the land.
Oh, wow.
So what happened was, my godfather, who was my partner in on this, he held the fort down, and continued to, we had our blueprints and continued to, build the first 2 model homes and all that good stuff. And he was giving me the progress as I was in jail. And that was in 05. But what happened was, we had started our development, and we ran into the issue of the economy being in a recession. So it slowed everything down. But while I was in there, he actually was selling these properties. So by the time I came home, we finished up phase 2. Phase 1 was the right side of Bainbridge and the left side. Phase 2 was Cater Street and Pemberton Street. So I came home, we're all finished. He had my money put in escrow. We were just getting revolving construction loans as we would sell the first 2 model homes. Then we'd just go right back, because the bank gave us a line of credit for 12 million. Once we got the house, the land appraised, they gave
Oh,
us,
yeah, they're gonna give you that line of credit
yeah,
because
yeah,
you got
yeah,
you
absolutely,
sign that paperwork,
yeah, that's
and
right.
you have that land. That bank is gonna give you that line of
Right,
credit.
that's right. They said, "Hey,
Mm.
these guys, they default on their loan, on their,
They're gonna get that bank.
they're gonna get,
That's what they want
yeah,
you to do.
yeah, yeah. They want us
All
to."
right.
So we stuck to the plan. And once we did the project, we were collecting land. We would take that profit and collect other land throughout the city as well. So now we sold 33 of those homes to this day. 33, and they went. The first, it cost us about 300,000 to build each home, and our first
Mm.
home sold for like 9.7 million, and then after that, the rest of them sold between 1.5 to 2 million each house. Mind
Oh,
you,
yeah.
it only cost us about 300,000 to build each home.
Let me just do the numbers for them real quick.
Yeah,
If you sold those homes for 1.5 million and you had 33, that's about
yeah, yeah,
$50 million.
and it
That's what
cost us about
you're trying
300.
to get.
Yeah, it cost us about 350,000 to build them.
Minus, yeah, and you
Yeah.
can subtract it. You said it was how much? 300 and what?
It was 33 of them that we sold, and it was 350,000 to build them. And then once we, with the minus the closing costs and things like that, we were probably,
I mean, yeah, y'all had some money.
yeah.
y'all
But
had
then we
y'all
went,
had a nice.
yeah, for sure. 'Cause
I don't
then
know how much the closing cost was, but
that's,
yeah, y'all were
yeah,
good.
that's why,
So you started out with your godfather
yeah,
and him being somewhat of a mentor.
right,
You hustle first.
right,
God having your back. Then your godfather helping you get those contracts right, and y'all work together.
absolutely,
And then at that point, how does Floyd Mayweather transition into it? And
yeah,
what was it about you that he wanted to bring you into the TMT family?
yeah. Well, what happened was, this kid he used to see my Instagram page, and because I would like kind of like mentor people into doing real estate deals, and I would let them see me close my deals and these huge deals. And so he was like, he DM'd me one day, was like, "Hey, I met Floyd Mayweather. Floyd likes smart investments." So we ended up. He said, "Hey, can you go to the fight with me out the DC Armory, in DC, whatever?" And I said, "All right, cool." And that's where I met Floyd out there. Um, and then me and Floyd, I ended up on a tour bus, and we ended up kicking it. And you know, he saw kind of like, you know, I was a thorough dude. I had my own money, and I was a very smart businessman. So then that's when I
He
ended up,
respects that.
yeah, me and Floyd, we got really tight, and then I ended up sponsoring his, his youth football team, TMT Red Lions, TMT youth football team.
But people that don't know, because you had helped to sponsor our reunion, I'm very grateful for that.
Oh yeah,
Some of the women who wanted to go and attend the reunion, it was that was a blessing. So thank you once again. And we did give you got your plaque.
I love it. Yes, it was dope. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You earned that.
Sure.
So
yep. So Floyd and then I ended up, I travel with him. I do some other little business deals with him that smart investments over there in Vegas in regards to. We had these shipping containers, remodel, turned them into VIP shipping booths, and you got the Oakland Raiders stadium being built now. And then we said, okay, this would be kind of cool to have these huge, nice, high-end parties, for the football players, the celebrities, and things like that. So
right.
I jumped in on that investment.
Oh yeah, I saw you with Tiny.
Yeah, right.
Okay, girl, we see you.
Yeah, for sure. Then Floyd and I got really, really cool. I went to travel all over the world now, and then also went. We stopped at one particular event where it was an exhibition fight with Champ. I went to Japan with him. I walked him out to the ring. All that good stuff, and we just built a really good relationship. That's around the time where guys were looking at my Instagram, and I was in Vegas. A situation happened. A guy that I thought was my friend, he ended up having me robbed at a gas station near the desert, and that's when they had kidnapped me, and they were taking me out to the desert. They told me I wasn't ever coming home. I said, yeah, okay. I jumped out of that car and I sprung. I got away. And
wait a minute, so they kidnapped you and put you in a car?
Yeah. This
was in Vegas?
Yeah, in Vegas, yeah.
Oh no.
My friend that I was my friend. Now he's not my friend, but this guy I was with, he
set you up?
Yeah. Yep. I took I know. I took like $250,000 in cash out there, because I was going to try look for a home out there. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, buy a home, and I was going to make a cash offer for it. And so, at the same time, I was doing a little promotional video of TMT, the money team, and all that good stuff. So he knew how much cash I had on me, and he kept calling around for me, for me to come hang out, whatever. And he was, he never had called me this much before, but this one particular day he was calling, and then what happened was I had went out with him. I met him, and he's like, "Yo, you can bring your money and all that stuff, and I know you like to shine and all that. You ain't got nothing to worry about. I got the pistol in the car and all this." And I'm like, and like I said, I had got too comfortable with kind of I left my street senses behind. Yeah, I left it behind. And, because I was so used to doing legal things. You understand?
Yeah.
It kind of almost cost me my life, but he was asking questions that I should have. Some red flags should have went off, but it didn't.
Right.
And so I only took $5,500 out with me that night. I left the rest of the money at the hotel because he was telling me, "Yeah, bring your jewelry and all that stuff." And like I said, it was really stupid. I didn't realize it. And I'm from West Philly. Are you kidding me?
But, yeah. I tell you,
you know what I
mean? You can take me out of Philly, but you can't take Philly out of the girl. My spidey senses be on. That's another story. But anyway, go ahead.
I hear you, sis. And it was just I should have recognized it, but.
No, but God got you, because the thing is, he needed that man to be exposed.
Yeah.
He needed that man to be exposed, and he also needed you to be careful.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, we have one life
I'm
to
telling
live.
you, who you
And
telling?
I don't, we have one life to live. And here's the thing, I don't judge people. Like with me back in the day, I would have my little pocketbooks and my name earrings and all of those things. But I worked for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that my boyfriend was taking care of me, because I've had so many people ask me, who girlfriend are you, or who's taking? I've always taken care of myself. There are
Uh-huh.
only two men that have taken care of me, my
Yep.
daddy and my grandfather.
Yep.
I've only had two relationships my whole life.
Right.
I've
Right.
dated a little bit, but I've only had two relationships, and I have children from those relationships.
There you
So the point is,
there
I
you
have
go.
always hustled myself. I have always taken care of myself. All of my brothers around me, you and a few others, all y'all millionaires.
Right.
And technically on paper, I will be in a little bit,
For sure. For
but
sure.
I gotta get there,
Absolutely.
and on God's
It's, of
terms.
course.
You
It's what happened when you least
know?
expect it.
Yeah, and I don't want women to feel like they can't have relationships with brothers
Yeah.
who are doing well because they're worried about the stigma that some people want to try to put on them.
Right.
Because trust me, if I had somebody putting millions in my bank account, I would not be on the podcast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on the Inspiration Incubator. Okay, I would be cutting some other deals.
Right. Right. Right.
Where it never get cold. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be necessarily
but
used to.
it's coming though
Okay, amen
because
to that.
I
That's right.
for sure because I never expected I know I was destined for greatness, but
Yeah.
I mean I'm a private jet, my Rolls Royce is on the game. I'm talking about paid for cash. So
Yeah. You got you
yeah,
all the way up.
yeah. So I never from the projects to private jets. I never expected that. I knew, like I said, I expected greatness, but come on, when you out there and you really like walking up and down the street selling DVDs, and you ain't you talk about you won it. I was working towards it, but I didn't. I was just like. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't
You had no idea that the bounty would be so sweet. And the thing is, as a woman, I feel that you have to maneuver in this world a little differently.
Yeah.
Because of everything that will come your way.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I close my eyes every day, I'm at peace with everything that I do, and I'm grateful from where God has brought me from. And by the time I tell my story and put it in the book, some people will be looking like, "Wow, she went through all of that." Yes, I did. And it's by God's grace and mercy that I'm still standing, because there's nothing but the blood.
That's right. I'm telling you. That's right. Nothing.
But I'm very, very happy for you, and I'm very excited that God kept you in the midst of all those things. And like for me, I don't judge people. Like some people are flashy, some people aren't. We have one life to live. So my thing is this:
True.
long as you have your life insurance, make sure you have. And I'm not saying, I know I'm just saying this to people. But as long as you have your attorney in charge of your affairs.
Yep.
If God forbid something happens to you, your will. Hey, enjoy your life, because you can't take none of this with you when you go.
You can't.
You cannot take anything with you when you go.
There you go.
For everybody that's trying to take that money with them when they go, they could have blessed somebody with it while they were here.
There you go.
Because you can't take none of it with you. You can't take the cars. You can't take none of it. So enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. When I see you doing what you do, I'm like, go, bro. I'll be cheering you when I'm one of your cheerleaders too. I have a few brothers that I really admire, and who are good brothers, who are millionaires but aren't snotty, aren't snooty, and they just day one brothers.
Yep, and that's what
and yes, I'm going to root them on, and yes, I'm going to be their cheerleader, and all of that transferring of energy is coming right back.
Of course,
okay,
of course. That's right. And that's how I am. I'm super. Like you if you meet, well, you know me, so the average person meet me, they just be like so stunned on how humble I am, how I sit and talk with the homeless. I give.
That's just you though. Like you're not.
Bad guy.
you're not on some new day.
You know,
You don't know who you are, or you're not grateful for what you have.
yeah. I remember I was in Vegas and I took this homeless brother. He had lost a job. He was homeless. He wasn't like one of those less fortunate people that's like with no shoes on and they really got like an odor to them real bad. He wasn't one of those people, but he
Down on his luck,
yeah,
brother.
he was on his luck and he was homeless. I met him on the Vegas Strip. I took him for a ride in my Lamborghini.
That was
And
nice.
yeah, I took him for a ride in my Lambo, and then that inspired him so much. He ended up maybe like a week after he ended up getting a job, and he was just like, "I'm good, man. I'm great, man. Thank you, man. That's what I needed." So it's kind of cool. I like doing those things for people like that. And then I go around to the youth, talking to the children, little colleges and high schools, and just talking to the children. And I know that like my Instagram page,
Hmm.
I actually my videos I used to have up there were like really like I was just like I said I used to make videos of me closing deals and going to the bank, you know,
Right.
getting the money, and then I would tell people, see, with this deal, I made this, all with no money out of my pocket. You could do the same. So what happened was, and I was literally posting up like quarter million, half a million, seven, 800,000. I'm talking about cash. Like I was literally going to the bank getting bricks of money from the teller. They slide it through. I would order it one day because when you get that kind of money, you got to order it first. So they have it ready in like 2 days. I go there and pick it up, and I was showing all this. But what happened was, okay, yeah, I was showing the people how real it was, and letting them know that they can, sell their properties and flip their properties and do the same thing. But then you
Yeah.
got the wolves. You got the wolves looking and lurking. And what happened was uh, guys had actually this was like in 2000 and this was like in 2017, like February.
What happened? What happened then?
Yeah, what happened was um, me being on Instagram, I was in and out, at my home over in Vegas and in Philly, and so I'm
Hmm.
going back and forth. And by me showing these videos on Instagram, they saw how much money, like they knew, like I'm not one of those guys that put $100 bill on top with the ones and whatever, but they knew like I literally was getting what I said from the bank, like I'm really there. My money
So who was
was
watching? The haters or
there.
the feds or both?
Nah. It wasn't the feds because it was all legal. That's the man. That is the most beautiful feeling in the world.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who watching? The
It was
haters?
yeah. It was a guy that knew me. Again, it was a brother that had knew me. Um, he was watching me. It was a dude that grew up with me. He was watching, and they both got together and put a tracker under one of my cars. And
No.
yeah, yep, they put it was
Don't tell. You know what? I got to see now.
well,
You gonna have your these accused tonight?
how was that?
Damn.
Yeah, so
Oh
they put
my gosh.
a tracker under my car. They got these trackers, whereas though
Oh, I know. I
yeah,
heard. Oh,
and
trust.
yeah, you could put it inside of a magnetic case, and then you can like pop it up under somebody's frame, and you'll never know it's there. And it'd be going to their right on the app on their phone. They could be following you the whole time. So, and that's
Crazy.
what they
I
did.
better
Yeah,
check under my car every now and again.
man, it's crazy. I'm telling you, it's crazy. There, people don't
So
look
when you
at the
found
time.
it, did you press charges? What happened?
But this one particular night, I always pray and ask the Lord to watch over me, even in times where I don't know what's going on, because the Lord knows everything. And you always got the double, trying to
Trying to get in
get
piece
in.
of it.
And so I will always ask him, Lord, protect me and watch over me, Lord. I know, whatever's going wrong, whatever the devil got planned for me, rebuke him in Jesus' name, in Christ Jesus' name. And I'll be praying. I pray hard, even to this day. And so by me doing that, the Lord assembled his angels, and they was definitely around me. This one particular night, they was going home, and it was actually wasn't home. It was one of my properties where I had I used to stop at every once in a while. When I was walking in, I went in, and as I went in, I went upstairs, and I never really usually go straight upstairs. We always, go in and I'll check the basement, the first floor. Then I'll go upstairs. But this one night, I felt cold. I was like,
Oh my
I was
God.
like, why is it so cold? It wasn't even. It wasn't. I mean, it was in February, but this particular day, it wasn't cold at night. It was literally probably um, like 69, 68 degrees at nighttime on this day. But I was really cold, so I know that was the Lord's angels around me. So I went in and I was upstairs and I heard my wife like scream, and she went to shut the door, and I heard boom, where the money at? Where the money at? You know what I'm saying? And then my alarm went off, and then they got up out of there once the alarm went off. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
um, then I get a call like a half an hour later. The guy calls me, oh yeah, man, he sent me a text. Yeah, man, some guys is on your top, man. Be safe, be careful. And I said, okay, he got something to do with it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So,
yeah, yeah.
and then what happened was, I went to see him, me and my wife, and my wife likes to carry, and so I act like I was stupid. Oh God, well, yeah, what happened? He'd give me information and all that. And so as he was giving me information, we put everything together. We end up finding out who he is and all that stuff. And it was crazy because I could have resorted to the kind of went the street way about it, right?
Right.
But and that was the hardest test. That was like the hardest test that I've ever had to put up with. Like I had
Mm.
encounter. I'm sorry, because
Wow.
I knew everything about him. I knew everything about him, and
Mm.
you know, when you making money, you got people that want to do things for you just to be on your good side when you making money.
Wow.
That let's just be real. But I didn't want to do that. I knew the devil was testing me. I knew
Yeah.
he's always
Yeah.
trying to ruin your life.
It's just not worth it. And
It wasn't
it's
worth
just
it.
like a woman. It's just like a woman, I meet men all the time.
Right, right,
Okay.
right,
I'm an attractive woman. I'm
right.
single. I have
For
people
sure.
ask me all the
Yes,
time, why am I single? Why am I
right,
single?
right.
I'm single because my husband hasn't found me
Yeah,
yet
that's right.
that that,
Right.
that I know of.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
so that's the only reason. There
No.
is no rhyme. There's no reason. I'm
Yeah,
too much,
yeah.
too much for one man, not enough for two.
Ah,
You know,
that's right. That's right.
it's just that
You know
simple.
your worth. You know your worth.
Yeah, I do
And
absolutely.
God has a great man for you. And it's God's cooking up his recipe now. Trust me. Trust me.
Amen. I'll let him cook.
I'll tell you.
I'm just going to sit back, enjoy my life. But I say that to say when you said, I brought that up because you said that
Yeah,
the test.
yeah,
My God, my God, my God.
yeah.
Okay.
Let me
Don't
tell you.
think that the Lord has not tested me or I haven't put myself to the test.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because for a while there, when you're able to stay on the right track and you're able to stay on the right road because that's the road you want to be on.
Right.
But what happens, my God,
Huh,
what happens when you're put in a situation
man.
where you're ready to just say, you know what,
Hmm.
Lord, I just might,
Let me tell you.
what do? You have to lean on your core, and that's what you did, and that's what I've had to do
Honey, let me tell
with
you.
dealing with some things.
Let
I've
me,
had to lean all on the Lord, like
crazy,
Lord, come on
crazy.
now.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. When a man starts talking about showing you where you've been in the last 2 weeks, showing you
My
your
God.
mother. Oh yeah, we seen when you guys were here. You was eating and with then you there with your mother-in-law. They tell you what kind of car she driving. They start talking about they studied your family and all that because they was gonna try to kidnap me and hold me for ransom, me and my wife. So yeah,
This is just
yeah,
child.
and he like literally showed me the app, and in the app it showed like my recent trips and all that, and it was like, oh yeah, you was here on this day, you was here on that day, they was gonna get but he was the culprit. You know what I'm saying? And what happened was that was so hard for me not to um, snatch him up or have him snatched up. that was.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you talking about your
I know when
mom,
when
so
your emotions get involved.
what?
When
Like,
your
what am
emotions
I
get
supposed to?
involved,
Yeah, what?
your wife is there too. Come on, I
Of course. And you talk, yeah. You come talking about how they
man.
gonna do this to my grandma, why try to punch her out and grab her and put her in the car, the van, and these dudes left a van in front of a truck in front of my property with duct tape in it, zip ties, and the guy actually, so the guy was trying to steer me over to the wrong direction and had me blinded thinking that what he was telling me was the truth. It was the truth, but he was saying that he stepped off and he didn't want to had nothing to do with it. Once he found out it was me and all that. No, that was just his second plan to try to get some money from me because he tried to, pay me for some information and I'll give you the information on who it was. Man, we ended up finding out everything. It wasn't nothing but the good
Right.
Lord. We found out everything. And he told on himself. Like he was, I was like, look at the Lord work. Like he had this guy that's telling me stuff, and it was accurate information. And
Yes.
it was accurate information. And I'll tell you one day off.
Oh yeah,
Off the air.
yeah. Offline.
So it was like amazing. I'm like, yo, like God, like wow, thank you, Jesus. So it's like the Lord wanted me to stop doing too much. I was doing too much on social
Yeah,
media. I was
yeah.
doing way too much. And so what happened was I said, you know what, Lord, I need your strength. Me and my wife, we praying together, and she a Taurus, so she don't play no games. And so I was, we were just staying in prayer, we praying together. And as I was getting off my jet, that was like in February. I was getting off my jet like in July, coming from my crib in Vegas. I was over there for a little bit. And while I was walking across the clearport, about to go to my car, I get a phone call from my cousin telling me that, the guy, the mastermind behind it, he ended up shot.
Jesus.
So I didn't even have to do anything. And his karma did it for him. Because he was doing this. Like this is what he was doing. He went to jail for a long time, and then he came home. He was still doing the same stuff to people. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it was crazy.
It sounds crazy. I keep words. I keep my Bible. I keep books around me to help keep me on the path in which I need to be.
That's right.
I'm not perfect, but I try to get to where I'm going in life. I don't ever try to be perfect. I'm trying to align myself for the things that I'm praying for the desires that God has put in me, and it's going to be work.
There you go.
And for people that just want things to come, no, you're gonna have to work.
Yep. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. You can't expect people to. I get that all the time. I mean, yo, what's up, Money Shy? Because people, they know me as Money Shy,
Yeah.
or Money Team Shy, So hey, Money Shy, man, put me on. That's how they speak it. They put me on.
Right.
Yo, what's up, man? Let me, damn, let me hold something. You know what I'm saying? Talking about cash. But the most famous one is put me on. I mean, I get that from a lot of people, family, and all that, and it's crazy because you can't expect someone to put you in a position that you have not deserved. You don't deserve it, so why would I put you in a position that just puts you right there, like no hard work, you ain't have to go through nothing, and just give you the silver spoon.
There's something important that was missing. It's called the process.
Yeah.
There's a process there's one thing for someone to give you something as a blessing and say, hey, I just want to bless you, this is for you. And it's another thing to go to someone with a heart of expectation. I have millionaire friends. I have never gone to any of them and asked for anything.
I understand.
Okay. Yep. Even if I needed it, because I was looking to God to make a way.
There you go.
And knowing that all I had to do was make a phone call.
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So because again, when you go through the process, you set yourself up. It's called preparedness. God is preparing you to get to where you're going. You get all the glory for your story.
And that's so true, because like when me and my wife was going through our struggles and everything, we were like, we thought, like, we used to dream big back then. We would close our eyes, imagine, things like that. And once we went through the process, once we got done the process, we looked back and said, wow, we really just got prepared for the blessing. So yeah. But when before we went through it, we wanted it. We was eager for it, but we wasn't ready for it. Like literally, like I know that. So, but then once we made it, then it's like, damn, I realized that I wasn't even ready for it back then because of all the things that we had to go through. I had to go through. It was with her. She had to go through everything that we had to go through. It was like, damn. Like, what if we just had the blessing overnight, but then we still would have had we didn't have this right. We didn't have that right. We weren't ready for this because of this. We didn't know about this. So it would have been a disaster. It would have. So it was on God's time. So we had to go through the process to become beautifully formed, like a butterfly. You know what I'm saying? And that's so true. Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah. And what some people don't know about the butterfly is if you take the cocoon of a butterfly and you attempt to open it up, you are not helping the butterfly, because the butterfly needs to take its wings and it needs to break through the cocoon to strengthen the wings so that they can fly. But if you take your hands and you try to open up that cocoon too soon, you just damage that butterfly.
Wow, ain't that something?
When we change ourselves, our lives change too. Some people are stagnated. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to let people, places, and projects go.
That's right.
So when you're growing up.
That's right.
So there's some things that are going to fall off.
That's right.
Period. It's just like a tree that's going through, growth process. The leaves start to fall off.
Absolutely.
In order for the new stems to start to grow.
Absolutely.
So all of those relationships that you go through, healthy and not, they're all connected. But in the end, you have to understand which ones do you desire, which ones are helpful, and which ones are hurtful. Our behavior should match our thoughts and actions. History repeats itself until we learn from it. And that's from everything. Right. If we don't learn how to move forward and with the right actions and the right deeds, history is going to repeat itself. So at the end of the day, bro, learn and live. Live your life the way that you want to live your life.
That's right.
Learn from your mistakes. If you know you got people tracking you down, like you said, you had to rear it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Learn, move on.
That's right.
Because we can't take any of this stuff with us. So when I see people, traveling with their wives and, taking their children on vacations to Rome and Italy, I love to see those things. It's very inspiring to me because that's where I plan to be one day.
That's right. That's right.
Going on vacation. And absolutely you should be taking your children. Absolutely you should be taking your wife and your loved ones, because these are the core relationships that matter.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get so caught up our surroundings and we get so caught up in our day-to-day that we don't realize we are not in control. We are not. And when COVID hit, I call it the equalizer. It let everybody know, shut it down.
I'm telling you.
Okay? Time to shut it down.
That's right.
Period, point blank. Doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you live on this planet. Your location. You have to shut it down.
Gotcha.
And if we have not understood in this climate that we are all one people, all children of God, and that we all have more in common than we don't. And if these men, instead of them running around here, some of them, they darn near 60, still don't want to commit. You got some sisters the same way. I'm not just going to call the brothers out. We're living in a climate where healthy relationships are necessary because, there's HIV and AIDS out here. You just can't be out here sleeping around. And it's hitting our homes tremendously in the Black and brown communities. People dying right and left. And then you have a surge of cancer coming on the scene. I lost, unfortunately, and I want to dedicate the podcast tonight because I learned of another sister, and it just breaks my heart. Another sister named Jennifer. She passed. I just learned about it in the process right before you and I started to come on the podcast, and my heart just goes out to she and her family. My God, and of course my heart goes out to Barbie and that family. And it's just like every day I turn around, somebody is leaving this earth. And I just ask God to just help me to use every bit of me that I have to get the messages out to the people that need to get the messages so that they can be inspired, and help me to balance with loving my child and doing the things that I need to do since I am a single parent, because people are leaving out of this world. I mean, back to back to back. And there are young people, and this is not COVID. I mean, young people just dying, dropping dead. And I am just like, my God, I just don't understand why people won't invest in their families more and invest in, loving one another more. So, right. But I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
The question I want to ask you, what advice would you give people who are wanting to be millionaires and they're not there yet, but they're wanting to become a millionaire because that's on their to-do list?
Mm-hmm. Well, the advice that I would give is that don't put a time frame on when you're expecting to make your first million. Reason being, because if you're looking at like, oh man, I gotta get this money. I want to make my first million. I want to hurry up and make it. I want to be rich in 2 years. If I ain't rich in 2 years, man, I'm gonna be upset with myself. Don't put a time limit, because it's going to happen on God's time. All you do is continue to plant your seeds by networking, educating yourself with in whatever craft or field or sector of business that you choose to go in. Just continue to network, educate, surround yourself in a particular circle of individuals that's doing big things, that's going places in life, rather than the people that's not going nowhere. So don't surround yourself with them, because you are the company you keep. So that's just business.
Come on, somebody. I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So just continue to plant your seeds. All of that is planting your seeds, and you put the work in, and God will water them. He will water your seeds. And I tell people I'm laying in the shade from seeds I planted years ago.
Come on, somebody. All right.
I'm laying in the shade now. You know what I mean? So, and so that's what I would suggest. Just keep pushing. And don't put a time limit on it. Don't put a time frame, because if you didn't make your first million within that 2-year time frame you gave yourself, you're gonna be disappointed. You might get discouraged. So don't do that. Just keep pushing, and definitely don't give up. And don't tell a lot of people what you're doing. People will pray against you, even though, I mean, if you got the armor of Christ on you, you all good. But don't, let God work. Just be patient. Let God work. Keep pushing. And just have this attitude. This is an attitude I want them to get, if they don't already have it. Be willing to. This was my attitude. I was willing to keep my relationship with Christ first. Keep that first, and continue to push. I'd rather have died broke and go to heaven rather than to gain the world, lose my soul.
Yes, what profits a man if he gains the world and loses his soul?
Yes, I'm literally, like, I promise you, that was my mindset. That's like so true. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
That's
That's a wonderful scripture to refer to, and I know that for myself, absolutely, that's one that works. Another one that works for me is, and this will probably help some of the ladies, whenever you have to ask yourself a question, you may be thinking about going in the wrong direction because of a need or because of a desire,
oh yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah.
So you have to ask yourself a question.
Hmm.
What would you tell your daughter?
Hmm.
What would you tell your daughter?
Right.
Now, when I say to myself in certain situations that I'm in, it doesn't matter what the situation is. What would I say to my daughter? How would I advise my child? That's how you need to advise yourself.
That's right.
Because sometimes, especially when it comes to matters of the heart, we as women, we are weak. When we love a man,
Right.
we some strong people now. Black women are some,
Yeah.
the strongest women on the planet right about now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but uh, but when we love a person, that can be our weakness. Or when we have a desire to be with a person because we don't necessarily desire every and anybody.
Right. Right.
You could go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years not desire anybody particularly, and then you may have this chemistry with a specific person, but that person may or may not be for you, or may not. The timing might be off. It could be anything. But the point is, you need to ask yourself the hard questions, and you need to love yourself like you would love your child. What would you tell your child? Because the advice that some of these people are taking from their friends is not the advice that they would even tell their own child. And how I know is because people do, call me about, different situations. And so just say to yourself, hey, what would I want my daughter to do?
That's right.
And if you won't want your daughter to do that, if you won't want your daughter to move in that direction, to handle that situation that way, as much as it may hurt, you're going to have to focus to get to where you need to be on your journey.
That's right. That's right.
I tell you, bro, I think you and I at the 2-hour mark.
All good. All good.
Ooh, it's gonna be so. This the longest podcast I ever had. To be able to reconnect, to get these stories. I mean, just listening to your story today, it's like wow. And you just reminded me, stay up on my Philly vibe.
Yeah.